Well, hey friends, welcome to this month's coffee chat. It is time for our monthly chat where we catch up together. Let's get ready, hang out, and yeah, I hope you're still enjoying these videos. I love doing them every single month. Cheers, friends. I also want to thank today's video sponsor, which is Quince. Thank you for supporting my channel and sponsoring this part of the video. So the sweater I'm wearing right now is their best-selling cashmere sweater. I want to try on some of the new things I just got from them. I am really loving this brand. I think you will too. So first up is what Quince is known for, their cashmere. They just revamped their cashmere line. It is even softer and more beautiful. And this is their best-selling $50 cashmere sweater. If you buy one thing from this haul I'm about to show you, this is my number one recommendation. It is their bestseller for a reason. It is so well made. Like, look how pretty. I just feel like the details on this sweater are so gorgeous. It is so soft and comfy. It's warm enough, but not too warm. It really is kind of in that medium category. And I feel like you can dress it up or down for every day. So lots of different color options. I actually had heard about Quince long ago, and I have so many screenshots on my phone of things I had been wanting to buy from them. So I was very excited to be working with them because the reason I've heard so much about this brand is that they are a lot more sustainable than most brands out there. They are a little bit more affordable, especially when we talk about a sustainable, more ethical brand. But then also they are built to last. They're built really, really well. And so this sweater, when I tried this on, I was squealing because it's what I think I've always wanted in a nice cashmere sweater, but it's actually fitting me the way I want it to fit. Do you know what I mean? New coat alert. I have been wanting one of these like quilted pattern coats, and this one is a really nice medium weight. It's got a good length to it as well. Kind of covers your bum. It's got nice big pockets. They also have this in this really beautiful green color. I was so torn because I love navy and I love this like deep green. So just wanted to point that out if you're in need of a new coat. But yeah, I really love the gold details. This feels incredibly well made. And if you are in need of a new coat, I feel like this one would be really, really, really cute and very functional. So I mentioned I love navy blue, and this is this beautiful deep navy blue turtleneck sweatshirt. But it actually fits. Again, it hits at just the right spot where I can just wear it out, which I feel like is the trend right now. Or of course, if you like a tuck like I do, you can tuck it. It looks so cute and elevated. This one's a little bit thicker than that cashmere one I just showed you. Really, really beautiful, beautiful detail. And again, they have this one in various colors, so it was really hard to make the decision of which color, but this is gonna be my go-to winter sweater, even fall. I mean, it's getting colder like quickly now, which is really exciting. So I'm really excited to be able to wear this stuff. So everything I'm showing you other than the jacket is cashmere, by the way, from their new cashmere line. This zip up, I don't know that I knew you could get a cashmere zip up sweatshirt, and I love that because it is so warm and cozy. It is super duper soft. I got this in black. I feel like for travel, this would be incredible. Like with joggers, whatever, you could just have it open. Like this is just one of those really versatile, comfortable things, especially if you're lounging around the house, but even if you're going out, running errands, going to the pumpkin patch, like why not? So soft. But really, this is what I'm gonna be wearing most of the time this winter, because this is something you can throw on. I mean, my goodness, I would throw this on top of my jammies in the morning as I'm scuffling down to get coffee with the girls, you know, like this is so soft, super comfy, super stretchy. Again, this is still cashmere. I love this color gray as well. I just feel like it is so beautiful, and it's got pockets, which is so nice. It's just an open cardigan, which again, these are super trendy right now too, but it's also classic. Like none of these things I feel like ever really go out of style. So when you're buying these things, they're gonna last you a long time and they'll always be in style, you know, they're classics. You guys know I'm a sucker for a sweater dress, and this is amazing because first of all, it's this really cool green color. Again, green is like moving up there and like my favorite colors to wear. But it's a longer one. Like this goes all the way to right above my knees, which I love. You could wear high boots with this. It'd be so cute, but also just like little Ugg, like short Uggs with this would be adorable too. But I love that, again, it's that same cashmere. So it's really soft, mid-weight. Sometimes I have like sweater dresses, like I've had them in the past where they're so thick, it's almost too hot to just go about your day. This is just the right weight, which I love about it, but it's still warm. So yeah, big fan of this style. Love the big turtleneck sweater detail. I love turtlenecks, okay? I really do. So if you are interested in checking out anything that I just tried on, I'll have everything linked in the order I tried it on. I'll also include like sizing information, all of that down there if you're curious if it's true to size, what size I ordered, what color I ordered, and if I think you should size up or down. Another cool thing about Quince is that they offer 365-day returns, which tells me they really do stand by their product, that you're going to love it. The best news is that there's free shipping on every single order. So even if you just ordered one thing, if you just ordered the cashmere sweater I showed at the beginning in the color you love, you're gonna get free shipping on it. So I think that's really, really nice when there's free shipping on anything you buy. I will say this, Quince has a lot of other stuff that I have my eyes on for future purchases because they have really cute purses, all kinds of other clothing. So definitely worth looking out, even if you're not into cashmere sweaters or just like winter gear. Maybe you live in the other part of the world and you're going into warmer weather. I would click around their site. I think you'll be amazed at how many things you end up wanting. And it's always cool to be able to try a brand that is kind of doing the big three. They're a little bit more affordable, they are a sustainable brand, and they are really, really well made, high quality. So thank you to Quince for sponsoring this part of the video and supporting my channel here. Alrighty, so I used that hair waver from Amika that I have such a love-hate relationship with. Like the one I love gives a little bit bigger of waves, and I got it on Amazon and it's cheaper, and that is the one I go to. But I keep one here and it's the Amika one. And that is one that I kind of wish back in the day when I bought it, I returned it, but I didn't. So I have it. I do think it can do a cool look. It's just not like the other one. I'll link below the other one I'm talking about. That other one, I feel like just, I don't know. It does a better job. It's so much cheaper. That's all. I just did the micellar water that I've been doing before getting ready each day, and it just feels so good. It gets off like any skincare from the night before without having to like fully wash my face. I really need to do the why can I never remember what it's called? Dermaplaning. No, yes, but not today. I need some lip balm. I'm having one of those like uncoordinated days. Do you ever have days like that where everything you do today, like I'm dropping things, I'm forgetting things? It's just one of those days. Like I just can't get it together today. And it's also a rainy day, which I love a good rainy day. Unless it's like the 10th rainy day in a row, in which case I'm like, oh, that's enough, you know, but good rainy days, there's something about them. And it makes you appreciate the sunny days, you know? So I asked you guys on my Instagram, which is It's Jessica Braun, if you had any burning questions for me or anything you just wanted me to touch on, whatever. So let's go through those. I was reading through them earlier with a cup of coffee and I was like, you guys had some really juicy ones, and I am gonna be honest, I got a little emotional earlier reading some of your questions. I might touch on those, I might not today, we'll see. We'll see. How emotional do I feel like getting today, you know, like. Let's start with this one. Miss Han Solo said, how do you do it? How do you do it all and not lose your mind? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it all, and I'm not losing my mind. That's very kind of you to think that I have it all together. I, last week, had this moment where I looked around our house and everything was a mess. And I know you've had those moments where you're just looking around and you're just like, I want to get rid of it all. Not literally, but you know what I mean. And you just can't keep up. You know, we'll close the kitchen for the night and like get everything done, and that whole main floor is nice and clean. And by the next morning, breakfast starts and the whole place is a mess again. And we repeat that every single day. I do sometimes lose my mind. Like, I just think it's natural. We want our spaces that like we live in. I know I'm like zooming in on this one particular piece of it, but you want your spaces to stay clean and you want it to stay organized and have what you need, but not have too much. And I had been at a friend's house shortly before that. And every time I've ever been in this friend's house, it is always so immaculately clean. She has a kid, but it's still immaculately clean. Even if it's like a last minute, like we're popping into her house for a thing. And I just think to myself, how is it always this clean? Like, she didn't even know I was coming in today. Like, it was really like, so I'm just like, it's one of those things that I'm like, some people really do amaze me. And maybe there are people out there that just have it together. I don't know though, because I don't. And if you pop into my house last minute, sorry ahead of time, because it is not pretty. Like if I know someone's coming over, I'm gonna straighten up. If I know I'm filming, I make an attempt to straighten up. You may have noticed in recent months, I got a sweet comment the other day that said something like, I love that you keep your house just the way it is, and like it was being genuine, and you don't, you know, feel the need to like make it look perfect for us. I was like, honestly, I didn't even have the mental energy to realize there was a mess behind me. Like it was just, we're done. So it just made me smile. But I have told you guys, I'm trying to make an effort. No, not concealer yet. I'm trying to make an effort to be a little more real with you guys and not always clean up every single mess before filming, because you should see it as a normal person is living, because I am a normal person living too. So, you know, the internet's a funny, funny place. But I will say I had a moment the other day where I absolutely was just feeling a little bit burnt out. It was like, you know, 3 or 4 days in a row working. And then I was just like at that point where I was like, I have looked at screens for so many hours of so many days in a row. I felt like I hadn't really been outside. So I took a moment once I got home before the kids were back, and I went in the backyard and just sat out there and read a book. And just that action. And then I ended up going over to the garden and picking some of our tomatoes and then watering one of our flower things that definitely is dead, but I'm trying anyway. And just that action of going outside and just doing something different, breaking away from screens, getting out of your home or your work or whatever, I really think that can take its toll for sure. And it just helps so much. So I don't know. I don't do it all without losing my mind. So I almost hate that you would even get that idea that I do all together. It's so funny because if I go back on like old videos of mine and watch old stuff, I'm like, I don't know. We just all change so much. This isn't to do with that, but it's something I've been thinking about a lot. We all change so much. And if you were presented with an older video of mine, you'd be like, this is not the same person. So that being said, Just Sally F asked, do you have a housekeeper? I've mentioned before, probably, oh gosh, it was probably 6 months ago now that I mentioned it. We have like a cleaning service that comes every few weeks to do like the deep cleaning, and that has been such a game changer. I mentioned in that video where I first mentioned, I almost feel embarrassed mentioning that because I think about the way I was raised, and like I always feel like even within my family I would be viewed as like, oh, so you can't hack it, like you can't be the wife and mother and keep it all cleaned and do this and do, not that my family is like, they're not, okay? But I'm just saying like that is definitely the vibe, and I feel like it was kind of embarrassing when we did start doing it. I didn't want to tell anyone in my family because I felt like a failure that I couldn't keep up, but I couldn't keep up. I just couldn't. And I kind of hit that point where I was like, something has to give. If we can afford it, if we can swing it, I want to try it out, and we've tried it out and we are loving it. So we try to make it happen every few weeks, and yeah, I love it. So speaking of that, Nicole asked, how many siblings do you have and what are the age gaps? I'm gonna be honest, I actually don't know all my siblings' exact ages. To be very honest, I could sit and maybe figure it out, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So I have 5 siblings. I am the second to youngest, so I have a younger brother who's just like 2 years younger than me. And then we're gonna see if this brow product works. And then I have, like, starting from the top, I have my oldest brother who is around 20 years older than me. My parents got married pretty young and started having kids. And so yeah, I think he's literally like 20 years older than me. And then there's a little bit more of a gap between him and my oldest sister. So it's him, 3 sisters, me, and then a younger brother. This might be too dark. We'll brush through it. But yeah, like the sister right above me is like 4 years older than me, and then 6 years older than me, and then I think like 7 or 8. So maybe my oldest brother's not 20. How old is he? Why can't I do this math? He was basically, when I was born, he was basically out of the house in the military. So I've joked that I had to like get to know him in adulthood. Like both of us really, because he was gone and then eventually starting a family, and he was living elsewhere. And so I really did, like, into young adulthood is when I kind of actually got to know my brother. Isn't that interesting? But yeah, I love my family. We're pretty lucky in that we're all still pretty close. I do think we are all very different, and some of us I think are more similar than others, and that's just based on so many different things. But we are all close, and we all do still get together, like in family gatherings, and I'm very thankful for that. I have not done concealer. I do think having a lot of siblings and loving having a big family has played a part in me wanting kids for sure, but also like, you know, when I think about, do I want more than the 2 we have? I do think having a big family has definitely played a part in me kind of wanting more. I don't want 6. Also, I'm not even sure that I could genuinely based on many factors. But yeah, I think that plays a part in me wanting more kids because I know how fun it was to have a big family and growing up with that. So I feel like those brows are like way too dark, but maybe we'll just keep it rocking and rolling and we'll adjust if we need. Maybe it'll look okay soon. I hope so. Jessica Serrano asked, what is God teaching you right now? One thing I have been thinking, I love that question. First of all, oh my gosh, I love that question because that makes you really think. I mean, obviously I'm a Christian, I believe in God. And I always try to say, you know, when I talk about things like this, if you do not have the same belief system as me, I'm not talking about it to alienate you or make you feel away. Like, this is just my personal belief system. And yeah, anyway. But I definitely feel like right now I'm in a limbo with a few things in my life, and not necessarily in like a wildly negative way, but there are a couple things in my life that I feel like I'm in limbo with. And I definitely want and crave some guidance with certain decisions I need to make. And I feel like that is one thing I have been praying about a lot, is for God to kind of guide me in the way he wants me to go. And that kind of brings up the topic of like, you know, in life, you do have to still work at whatever his plans may be for you. What I mean by that is I feel like sometimes I'm tempted to be like, well, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So I'll just sit back and let God do the work. But in real life, I mean, you do have to make these decisions and you do have to do the work. And it can be hard to trust that you are making the right decisions. And so that's why, like, for me lately, I've just been praying really hard that whenever I feel called to make a decision one way or another, that it is the right decision. So, you know, time will tell for a lot of things on my mind. I'm not being intentionally cryptic. I just, you know, there's just certain things on my mind. Boy, this light is great, but you're not seeing it exactly true to color. Actually, no, that is pretty true to color. This feels very orange. I'll by the way, I know I'm not talking about makeup in this. I'll link any makeup I'm using below if you're kind of curious what I'm using. So Katie JD said, how do you know you're ready to make certain decisions, all the big, scary grown-up life things? Right. Right? I don't know. I wish I knew. No, I do think with certain things in life, there are like things you like almost can't get out of your mind and off of your heart. And I feel like when that happens, that is a sign that that is the path you're supposed to go down. When you can't stop thinking about it, you cannot, no matter how hard you try, get it off of your chest, like off of your heart. I think sometimes that is our way of being told, like, that's, you know, for me, God pushing me towards that decision. I was also asked, kind of connected to this, BT Dragonfly asked, what made you switch from musical theater to teaching in school? I don't remember. First of all, I feel like my memory is not very good. Anyone else feel that way about their own memory? Like, I feel like if you were to ask me to tell you what we had for dinner last night, I'd be like, I don't know, hold on. And I would have to like really think, but also big things. Like there's certain trips we took 10 years ago that I'm like, oh yeah, like I know. Like there are just so many things I feel like my brain just doesn't remember. But anyway, what were we talking about? I wish I were joking. It's not funny. Oh yeah. So how deep do I want to go into this? I mentioned that I owe you guys like a get ready or a get to know me video soon. I'll try to do that really, really soon because a lot of you guys are new in the past year or two and I really haven't done one where I kind of share my story because usually you're just getting bits and pieces. But to give you some bits and pieces here, I was engaged before meeting Tyler. It was when I was living in Chicago, going to school for musical theater. The whole timeline, I was really trying to think through it this morning. The whole timeline is so hazy to me because I remember like deciding I was going to move home, which Chicago is 3 hours from where we live. I was going to move home with my parents and go to school to be an elementary school teacher instead of musical theater. The reason I say the timeline is hazy is because I also, that like Thanksgiving break, so I moved home like over Christmas break. So that Thanksgiving break, my boyfriend at the time proposed to me. I said yes, despite the reservations in my mind. And I remember like going back to Chicago for a few weeks and then packing up and moving home. And so in my head, I've always been like, oh, well, I moved home because we were going to get married and I just felt like that was what I had to do. I don't know. And I can't remember if like I had to have known before he proposed that I was going to move, because I would have had to have a lot of things in place already. So my point being, I actually don't know. And that is the most peculiar thing. So when you think about like big life decisions you make, the scary, honestly, like terrifying to my bones thing is that if I had not made that decision for whatever my reasoning was then to move back home, go to school to be a teacher, etc., I would not have eventually met Tyler, because the timeline went as follows. I moved home. Something awful happened with this person that I knew I should marry anyway. I break things off with him. Thank goodness. I meet Tyler like a month and a half, 2 months later, and it's kind of a slow burn, but we eventually, you know, we're in a show together and we start to like each other and stuff. If all of those things hadn't happened, I would not have met him. And I also would not have started my YouTube channel. Like there are so many things that would not have, my life would look so different if I had not made those kind of at the time crazy decisions to quit that school, move home, change things completely. And so that gives me chills to my core, because I love my life and my husband and my children and my job so much. And I cannot imagine having my life be wildly different, especially like being with someone else. Oh my gosh. I'm so thankful for so many things. So going back to your decision of like, how do you know with the scary life decisions? I think, like I said, those things that just keep creeping back at you, or you almost can't even explain why you feel that you need to make this decision, could be the universe or God nudging you in a direction for a reason, even if at the time it doesn't make complete sense to you. Or even if after the fact you look back and it doesn't make complete sense to you. Now I'm like, well, I guess if one wonderful thing came from it, it was that my life completely changed for the better after it changed for the worse, right? What is that phrase? The sky is darkest before the dawn. Yep. So Emily and D asked, I'm afraid my mom won't follow my schedule when watching my kid. Any advice? One thing I've learned now, having had 2 kids and survived the baby stage twice and working through the toddler stage for the second time, I have definitely realized that it's okay for your kid to get off their schedule, especially when they're with someone you do love and trust, like a grandparent, whatever. And my reasoning for that is kids need to have that kind of, I'm going to call it adversity. Use that eventually, I really do mean adversity as they get older. They need that adversity to fight through, to learn how to be flexible, to learn how to get through it. And as silly as it sounds for like a little baby, like obviously, yes, babies, especially little babies, need certain things happening at certain times and like, you know, certain safety things being followed, etc. But as a general rule with things that maybe don't matter as much, I think it's okay. It's okay if once a week they're not exactly on their schedule because their Nana is watching them and they're maybe eating something that you wouldn't necessarily give them at that time of day. I think it's good for the kids to see that there's different ways to have your day go, and there's different, like, I genuinely think that's healthy. One thing I think about a lot with how we parented our first versus our second. With our first, I do think she was our first and our only child, and so we catered to her every whim. And while I don't think we made like wildly huge mistakes, we definitely changed some things the second time around. And one of them was exactly that. Not always padding her life around her to make sure that she never deals with disappointment or adversity or whatever, like a healthy amount of danger, you know what I'm saying. Because we see how she's incredibly careful, which I think can be a good thing, but maybe she could be a little less careful sometimes. And then there's our second, who is just a wild card anyway, and we have no idea if it's how we parented her or not. But my point is, I think it's okay for kids to experience things differently than the way you do them. Kids are more flexible than you would ever think, babies too. And yeah, it's okay. I think it's good for them. But it can be hard, especially when it's your first and especially if they're young, it can be really hard to let that control go, but it's good for you too. It's good practice for the future because, the reality is as they get older, there are certain things that are beyond your control. I'm dealing with that right now with her being in kindergarten. Like if like a certain kid does something to her, like at school or whatever, and she tells me about it, I'm like, You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I want to fix this, but I know these are the kinds of things that you learn to work through as you grow up. I remember learning to work through those, and it's made me who I am today. So it can be really hard to let go of some control. Jojo Marie asked, what were you like as a child? I was a very shy kid. A painfully shy kid. I didn't go to like preschool or anything like that. I went straight into kindergarten, which many kids do. But I do think that I struggled, and who knows, right? But I do wonder if I struggled with making friends for a while because I didn't kind of have that earlier time to practice and to learn social cues. But then I'm like, I don't think so, because I, have my siblings around me. We were playing with neighborhood kids, so it's not like I was not interacting. So I think it might just be, this is me, I'm thinking through it right now out loud, okay? I think it was just maybe my nature. Like, I genuinely, that is just my nature. But I was a shy kid. I loved school. Loved school. It's no wonder I ended up becoming a teacher. I absolutely loved school. I did pretty well in school. I was someone that I never wanted to get in trouble. So like, I would be making sure all my homework was done, all my ducks were in a row, that I was quiet at the right times. Like, I could play the game of school very well. And it was always funny when I was teaching to like see the students that were like me. I'm like, oh yeah, you're just like me. I wouldn't say it, but I would think it. I remember giggling because it was so hard to name our kids, because it's hard to name a kid anyway. But any name we would come up with, I'd be like, no, I had a student that had that name. I can't do that. Good or bad, it didn't really matter. I couldn't do it. So we genuinely picked names that I don't think I ever had I know I didn't ever have students with those two names, but I also just absolutely love those names. Beep, bop, boop. Alex Mojica asks, how's the bee situation? Did they come back? The bees are gone, baby. We have got our backyard back. We have been able to go enjoy it, which is so nice. Yeah, if you missed the whole saga, I'll link the vlog where we explain it. It was a wild ride, I will say. I did get a few comments of people asking, like, why did you need to get rid of the bees versus like having a beekeeper come and rescue them? We tried. No beekeeper, once they knew what kind of bees it was, they wouldn't do it. I don't remember what the exact reasoning was. It was either that they weren't honeybees or they weren't pollinators, right? Whatever. Point is, no beekeeper would do it. So we had to go the route of extermination. Because they had taken over our backyard. Like, we couldn't even sit on our brand new deck, like any of that. The kids couldn't run around the grass at their play set. Like, it just had to happen. So they're finally gone. It was a few weeks of, HE double hockey sticks. But yeah, I'm very glad to have that taken care of. So the bees are gone. We told you they were hornets. They were like, see, I already forgot the name, but something hornets. My mom was telling me a story that she got stung by hornets when she had just my older brother, when they were like young parents. And they were like on this canoe trip and they accidentally ran into a hornet's nest. And my mom got stung a whole bunch of times. They flipped the canoe, or like, it was just like a crazy story I'd never heard. But my mom agreed that like a hornet sting was like unbelievably painful. I'm like, that is crazy. So, and she's like, I've been stung by many bees growing up in Mississippi, running around barefoot. And she was like, never in my life had I felt anything like the hornet stings. I'm like, oh my gosh. Are you guys enjoying the more often vlogs? I've really been enjoying doing them. I took the week I'm filming this, I'm pre-filming a bit because we're about to it's almost fall break. So we're gonna go to Disney. I know you're very surprised. Point is that I've been pre-filming a bit, including this video. And well, first of all, I think when you're watching this, we are in Disney. When am I making this live? I think we currently are. So if you want to follow along our Disney journey and you're into that, follow our podcast Instagram. It is Disneyville Podcast over there, because we'll be posting on our stories every single day. We'll probably save it as a highlight if you want to go back and see some of the earlier part of the trip. And then of course we'll be vlogging it and all of that stuff. But yeah, if you're into Disney parks, I know a lot of you guys already know we have a Disney podcast, but definitely check it out. We have a YouTube channel and we do a full-blown like video of the podcast each week with video of what we're talking about. And we put a lot of work into all of this. So I hope if you are into that you will check it out. But anyway, how did I get on that? What were we talking about? Oh, the vlogs. When I do so many vlogs in a row though, I definitely find that I need like a week off vlogging, because it can be a lot to feel like, throughout the week, like, oh, I should be filming this. It's a weird dynamic. This was the week of, I'm not vlogging this week, but I'll be vlogging next week. Actually, I think I'm gonna do like a Disney pack with me video. unless I change my mind, which I might. Sometimes that's more stressful to do when you really are packing for a trip. So we'll see, but I'm planning on doing that. I wish I could answer all of you guys' questions. You guys asked such great questions. Jesse T. Solomon asked, love all the vlogs and getting real chats. Curious how folks have been responding. This is what has been on my mind a lot. First of all, I mean, many of you guys are loving, like the vlogs especially, like no issues, you know, is what it is. But the getting real chats, and I knew this when I started this series, it would be a lower watched series because it's not what I normally do on here. It's not vloggy stuff. It's not makeup stuff. It's topic related, a little nerdier. One thing that I have been thinking about, so I've mentioned like decisions I'm trying to make. I will tell you one of them is I'm trying to decide if I want to create a separate new YouTube channel for that, for deep dive chats, because sometimes I have been on YouTube for so long with the algorithm and the way I understand it, which no one fully understands it, but with the algorithm, the way I understand it, I think when you've been around for so long and I've always done makeup and now I've been doing more like vloggy stuff, my deep dive videos, even if that one-off video would be great for a certain kind of audience, it's not necessarily going to be pushed to that audience. It'll be pushed, if it is pushed, just to people that already watch my makeup lovers, people that watch my vlogs. So to find a new audience for a completely different topic on this same channel, it just confuses the algorithm. And so even if, like, obviously I knew a lot of you guys, less of you guys would watch that, and I was okay with that because I'm like, and I still am okay with that because I love doing these videos. They're a passion project of mine. But knowing that they're probably never really going to reach the right audience if I'm putting them on this channel, maybe I do just start a separate channel for those and just kind of start from the bottom and just see how it goes. But then there's the part of me that's like, well, if I'm going to do all of that, maybe if I start a new channel, it should be more than just that. So I'm kind of in this limbo of like trying to figure out if I already have some names for the channel in mind if I did it. But I'm trying to decide what would I want it to be, because when I create this, I want to know what it is and hit the ground running that way. And so if I wanted those chats to be there, I'm like, well, would all of my like coffee chat type videos go there? Like what would, you know what I mean? Like I really am kind of torn about a lot of this stuff. So I don't know. We'll see where I end up with that. I'll take any advice from you guys on what you think, because there's even been a part of me that's like, maybe I should just do a separate vlog channel. But I'm like, no, but like most of you guys watch the vlogs here. The vlogs do just as well as the makeup videos. And at this point, I think my vlogs do better than my makeup videos. So then I'm like, should I do makeup separate? I'm like, no. So this is where I'm at. I'm just like steamrolling my own thoughts. Like I don't really know where to go from here. So let me know if you've got any ideas. Sometimes you guys have clear sight because you're watching it from the other side. And so I always appreciate your guys' thoughts and input on that. So let me know. I have been so lazy with my lips lately. Like I have really just generally been grabbing products like this, like a plumping lip, and just throwing it on and calling it a day. Like I just can't be bothered right now, you know? And I love it because I can, you know, I'm putting these on without a mirror. I will say the version of this that has the sponge on top, I am loving. I need to do another current favorites video. It's been a while. I am loving that so much because it's a little bit less pigmented, but it still has pigment. It's a little less sticky. It's more like an oil versus like a whatever you call this, but I love this too. So I think I'm gonna end this coffee chat here. I hope you enjoyed catching up with your online bestie here. I certainly enjoy doing this with you guys every single month. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you will. I hope you check out some of my other videos. Like I said, hey, check out one of those Getting Real videos. I work really hard on them. Thank you, of course, to my video sponsor, which is Quince. I will link all of the products, including this beautiful sweater that I showed you during the Quince try-on haul earlier, down below in the description box. I'll also link in a pinned comment if that is easier for you to shop that way. I'll also include my sizing information if you're curious, like what size I ordered, if it's true to size, all of that kind of stuff, if that's helpful for you, and like the colors I got. So thank you guys for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.